Excuse me. Hi guys. This is another one of my DVD collection videos. This one is actually about zombie movies. So let's have a look what we've got here. This is Dawn of the Dead. This is the remake of the Romero classic. And I was expecting it to be not that good, but I was really surprised. It's a really good remake. Ving Rhames is in it, and the zombies run instead of shamble in their usual zombie way, which was quite controversial when it came out. But it's good, solid film, good action, good zombie film. So yeah. Next, Day of the Dead. This, I presumed, was going to be a kind of a sequel to the remake, and in itself a remake of the Romero's Day of the Dead, the original. But it's not really. It's just kind of, it has the title in common, but everything else is different. It's okay. Again, Ving Rhames is in it, although he's playing a completely different character, confusingly enough. And it's all right. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be. It's very much a B movie. So good fun, but nothing special. This is an official Romero movie. This is Land of the Dead. It's not his most recent one. There's been one since this, but this is pretty good. It follows on from the old Romero movies, and there's some cool zombies in it. He's kind of the lead zombie, that guy there. I don't know if you can see him. But quite an interesting DVD as well. There's quite a few bonus features, a few deleted scenes, screen tests, that kind of thing. So that one's good. This is Diary of the Dead. I wasn't too keen on this one actually. This is George A. Romero again. It's sort of a Blair Witch style handheld camera thing, and it attempts to be a kind of satire on the media, and it sort of works, but overall, it didn't quite hold together. I wasn't that keen on it, but it's got some really good reviews. So hey, what do I know? Okay. This is the first Resident Evil film, of course, based on the video game, very loosely based on it. It's still a zombie movie though; it still counts. And I actually enjoyed this. This got some pretty poor reviews, but I like all of the Resident Evil films. And even though they're pretty far from the story of the video game, they're still good fun. So this is the sequel, Resident Evil Apocalypse. This is the Resurrected Edition. I think this was probably the second time that this was put out. I think it's got slightly different special features and a preview of Resident Evil Extinction, I think. This one's good. It kind of has the story from Resident Evil 3. So that's the Nemesis. If you played the game, you'll recognise him. But again, I think this might be my favourite Resident Evil. Actually, it's good fun, good action all the way through. And Mila Jovovich is pretty hot. I can't remember how you pronounce her name. Jovovich, who knows? But she's also in Resident Evil Extinction. This one's really cool. It reminded me of a Mad Max film in a way, because it's kind of based after the apocalypse, obviously after Resident Evil Apocalypse, when humanity is dying out and everywhere is kind of a barren wasteland, and it's based in Las Vegas, I think, part of it as well, which is already a barren wasteland in a way. This is Brain Dead. This is pretty light-hearted stuff, even though it doesn't look it from the cover. I think this is called Dead Alive in America, and this is one of Peter Jackson's early films. Peter Jackson's more well-known these days for directing the Lord of the Rings trilogy and King Kong. But back in the day, he used to make low-budget comedy horror films, and this one is very, very gory, but in a really over-the-top way. There's a scene towards the end with a chainsaw cutting through like line after line of people, of zombies rather, and it's just so over-the-top that it's you can't take it seriously. So it's not exactly shocking. It's very, very funny as well. If you've seen it, you'll remember the dinner sequence with the mother when she eats her own ear. Yeah, that's good stuff. Bad Taste. This is another Peter Jackson film, and it's still kind of a zombie movie, although it's mainly based on these aliens who come to Earth to eat humans, to set up kind of a fast food restaurant where they serve human flesh. And again, it's really, really over the top, very funny, pretty gory, and it's made on zero budget as well. I think this is the first film that he made, and he basically did it all himself. The special effects were all created by him and his friends, and it's all shot on one camera. And but it's just really interesting to see what he managed to do with no budget at all. It's good stuff. This is Dead Set. This showed on British TV a while ago. I don't know if it's been shown in America, but it's written by Charlie Brooker, who's a TV critic who's very funny. You might be able to find some stuff about him on the internet. And it's based in the Big Brother house. Basically, it's from the point of view of the Big Brother contestants who are in the house when a zombie infestation breaks out, and basically the whole world is wiped out, and they're the only ones left who aren't zombies. And again, it's kind of a media satire. This one really works. So it's very, very funny. Well worth tracking down. This is Wreck. This was remade recently as Quarantine in America, but this is much, much better. Quarantine was it was almost a shot-for-shot remake, and just took all the good bits out, though. Somehow the spirit of it just wasn't the same. So if you can bear to see subtitles, I know it seems to be a real big problem for some people, but do watch this. It's really good. It's about a zombie outbreak in an apartment building. It's really good fun. And it's pretty scary in places actually as well. It's Blair Witch style as well, like hand camera. Okay, more kind of zombie comedy here. This is Shaun of the Dead. I'm sure many of you would have seen this. It's I think it was called a rom-zom-com, kind of a romantic comedy with zombies in. I've got another copy of this somewhere. This one's still in its cellophane. This was a promotional copy that I got when I went to see a gala screening of Hot Fuzz in Leicester Square. There was a goodie bag with sweets and posters and things, and they gave you a free copy of Shaun of the Dead. So I haven't opened that one yet. This is great. 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. 28 Days Later is the famous Danny Boyle film. I'm not sure who directed the second one. I don't think it was Danny Boyle. But they're both really, really good. As you can see, they're in a box set. I actually prefer the second one. I know lots of people probably don't. I guess it was less groundbreaking than the original, which has some very, very cool shots of a deserted London. But the second one, I think, was just struck me as a better film. Robert Carlyle's in it, and he's really, really good. So check out both of those. This is Creep. It's got a cool cover. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it kind of moves. It's kind of a zombie film. It's based mainly on the London Underground, which I know very well because I travel on it every day. And it's based on like people who this urban legend that there are mutants in the London Underground. I've heard people talk about it in the past. That kind of a few people got stuck down there and mutated into this kind of flesh-eating species. It's okay. I think who's in this one? Franca Potente's in it. She's pretty good. It's okay. It just misses out somehow on being really, really good. But I enjoyed it just because it's based in a location that I'm very familiar with, whether I like it or not. This is really, really good. I don't know if many people have heard of this, but this is Outpost. It's a British zombie movie made by a husband and wife filmmaker. I think it's one of the first films that they've made, and they financed a lot of it themselves. And it's based in Eastern Europe in a forest, and these guys find a bunker. Well, they're kind of mercenaries for hire, and they're brought in to find this bunker where there's this secret bit of Nazi technology, and it turns out that the bunker's full of Nazi zombies, and it's really, really cool actually. It's pretty creepy, I must say, in places, and it's a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's fairly low budget, but it just works really, really well. Really, really well made film. So I do recommend that if you haven't seen it. Okay, somewhere towards the other end of the scale, we have House of the Dead. This is by the infamous Uwe Boll, the guy who makes video game-based movies, and it's okay. It's worth watching the special features because they use a special kind of camera in it to achieve an effect, kind of like bullet time. But basically the actors stand on a platform and it whizzes around them at about 400 miles an hour. And it looks pretty cool, but it's been since banned because somebody got decapitated, not on this film, but on something else. So, but it's all right. And this is the sequel. This isn't directed by Uwe Boll, however you say his name. And it's all right. It's kind of a very generic zombie movie. Not as bad as all that, but yeah, but not great, not a classic. Okay, so that's my zombie movie collection. I will see you